Now, good morning, class. Today's discussion we're going to have this discourse to help re-educate my sister Naomi Mukami, because I have seen a gap in bringing a deficit in her knowledge, and let her sit down and let me educate her. Now, I start by saying that I quote Carl Jung. Now, Jung was one of the greatest philosophers, one of the greatest German philosophers back into the 16th century. That time was between 1650s to around 1810s, thereabout. So, I'll start by saying that, and quoting him, he once said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and it will think, and you will think it is fate. Now, let's first by deconstructing what exactly he meant by each word there. Now, we can start by the word. What does unconscious means? What does conscious mean? What does fate? What even does direct your life means? One, unconscious. It operates outside the conscious awareness. Now, what is unconscious? What are these things that operate outside your unconscious? These are your desires. These are something that you are attracted to, but you can't explain how exactly you are attracted to such things. And there's a reason why people have favorite things, and there's a reason why there's uniqueness in favorite things. But the philosophical question you should be asking yourself, and 99% is why people don't succeed in life, because they don't ask themselves these questions. Why am I attracted to this and not that? Now, when you start to understand such questions, is that when you start to understand the meaning to your life. Even fears. We all have our individuality types of fears. Behavior pattern. There's a way exactly you act. And it's fun enough because I think people actually define you based on your behavior patterns. And then that's where there's a common saying in Swahili that says that we wanna behave tu ka nani, maybe ka Naomi, we wanna behave ka father, you wanna behave. There's a pattern you're already exhibiting, depicting, that is used to interpret and explain exactly who you are. Inclination, dislike. Inclinations. These are the dislikes. These are the things that you hate. Now, fun enough, before I conclude this, let's look at what is a conscience. Now, conscience, just as the word says, is a part where you're just aware of them. You're deliberately aware of what is happening. Like, if you want to do something, maybe you want to take a pen and write. You take a pen and write. That operates within your conscious. Maybe you want to eat food. You go, you cook food, you eat. That is conscious. I was feeling hungry, so I chopped some onions and some nyanyas, and I cooked food. Wants and needs. Maybe emotions. You've seen someone that your loved one, your beloved one. You go, you approach them, you greet them with love, a hug or a strong handshake, emotions. Maybe you end up, maybe you're in an argument with someone, you end up not having a common ground, or end up in a dispute. Emotionally wise, you can react and maybe end up fighting with that person, or even saying something. You see, those are the things that operate within your conscious. Maybe you want to decision making, you want to make a decision, you make a decision conscious, but it's all about the self-awareness. That's the conscious. But here's where the eureka comes. The unconscious is what directs your life, and that's why I come back to what Yungian was trying to say. He said that until you make the unconscious conscious, until you make all thoughts, the desires, the dislike, your behavior patterns, the fear, the things that you dislike, the things that actually define who exactly you are, until you yourself, you become self-aware of them, you wouldn't be able to understand yourself, and then you will think that that is your life. You will think that the traumas that you had when you're growing up, that rendered to certain types of dislike and behavior patterns, attributing in your existence of reality in a certain way, without in your oblivion state, without your awareness, then you'll have a conclusion, an ultimate illusion, narrative conclusion, that is your destiny, that is fate, that is what exactly was you are supposed to experience in your life. And it's wrong, it's not true. And that's why 99% of people, they live in a very dismal, debilitating life, because they don't question some of the things they experience in their lives. They don't question their fears. They don't question why they like certain things. They don't question why they behave in a certain way, even if certain behaviors, they may be of negation to the society, even if certain behaviors, they rendered to self-debilitating. They still embrace them and call them fate, which is wrong. And that's why I conclude by saying that making your unconscious conscious, it reveals the hidden aspect of your life, and it is in that you'll start to have the ultimate question, which is, who am I? And eventually you'll get the answer, and you'll understand the meaning to your life. You'll understand why you like this. You'll understand. And the powerful thing about understanding yourself is the beginning of change. You cannot change something if you haven't understand how exactly it works. Someone cannot say he's sorry until he himself or her herself understand why exactly they are wrong. If they can't, then they can't be apologetic. There's no need to change. There's no need to be humble to embrace vulnerability and their egoism. I think these are questions people are supposed to be asking themselves. And it is in that we start to recognize ourselves, knowing our true purpose and our true why exactly is our motive in this reality that we are living, because we all have our different paths that we are following. No one is following the path of another person, and funny enough 99% of us we end up following path laid by other people, and that's why you wouldn't be surprised why most of us will never be successful, because we fail to embrace novelty, we fail to embody authenticity. The unconscious is very big, it's the bigger part, and you'll understand, you've now understand that it shape and mold our lives and the world we live in. I don't want to go profound, but I'll leave you with this food for thought. You create the world that you live in because you're a becoming being, and that's why you're a human being. You become. Careful on what you think, careful on what the energy that you operate within. And I can give a very subtle analogy so that you understand what I'm trying to say. That why Jungian's philosophy was taken in a very anonymity way. It's because the most common analogy is religion. I know it's a hot in the pan conversation and topic, but allow me to use this example. And the way I'm going to explain myself is that, if you want to understand a religion, you'll have to accommodate and understand other type of religion, so you understand why religion acts the way it acts. Same way with culture. If you want to understand your culture, you'll have to understand other cultures, so you understand exactly why your culture acts. And you'll see that some of us are really directed with religion to a completion, thinking it's the ultimate answer, forgetting to start following their own path. And that's where the catastrophe is. You see, it's funny. There's this famous scientist, mathematician, philosopher, astronomer, physician. It's called Galileo. Moment of silence for him. He's one of the greatest astronomer, and because why I choose to say a greatest, yeah, he was a philosopher. Most of these brilliant minds were philosophers. The reason why I choose to focus him on the aspect of astronomy, he really loved mathematics, but he was really good in it. He just wanted to teach people about physics, not physics, about philosophy and how the world is. And actually, even he didn't finish his physician. He actually didn't even finish his medical course. He left at the middle just to go and teach philosophy and educate people about the world. Now he came up with an equation about how to that helped with the creation of a telescope, and that's where he's one of the greatest. He's a goat in our minds of our philosophers, in the minds of wisdom, people with wisdom. So yeah, Galileo's, he invented something we call an heliocentric diagram, and we are all familiar with this. Is what says that Earth is not the center of the universe. It is the sun. And he was able to prove his point by observing the space via the telescope that he had invented. And we're all familiar, it's always the sun, then Mercury, then Mars, then Earth. Is it after Earth? Venus. After Venus, we have Jupiter. After Jupiter, we have Uranus, and then Neptune. And yeah, so that's the way it is. And he removed the concept of geocentrism in religion, where they think that Earth is the center of the universe. And it really brought a lot of epiphany in a lot of people's mind, understanding the narrative illusion that people operate in. Now, next discussion we shall be discussing about religion and attribution to fatalism predicated to Jungian philosophy.